The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Samuel Taylor Coleridge was born on October the 21st, 1772. He was an English lyrical poet, critic and philosopher. His lyrical ballads, written with William Wordsworth, heralded the English Romantic movement, and his biography Liturgia is the most significant work of general literature. He died on July the 25th, 1834. The poem is about an ancient mariner who in one impulsive and heinous act, changes the course of his and his fellow soldiers' life. Setting: the mariner sets out on a sea voyage to the southern hemisphere with 200 other men aboard a sailing ship. During the voyage, the ship is shadowed by an albatross, a huge seabird. Considered an omen of good fortune to seafarers. For no good reason, the mariner shoots the albatross dead with his crossbow. The mariners get angry with the ancient mariner who has killed the albatross. Rime of the Ancient Mariner. In the poem's first line we meet the main character, an ancient mariner. He stops one of three people who are on their way to a wedding celebration. The wedding guest tries to resist being stopped by the strange old man, but he is held by his captivating eyes. He explains he is on his way to the wedding place and that he's a close relative to the groom and the festivities have already begun. Still, the ancient mariner takes his hand and begins his story. Although the guest is reluctant, he is mesmerized by the old man. The wedding guest has no choice but to sit down on the rock to listen. Synopsis. Line 21-40. The ancient mariner explains that one clear and bright day, he set out sail on a ship full of sailors. The sailors were all in a happy mood. The ship sailed by the lighthouse, and then sailed further. The sun came from the sea, and it was shining brightly. They sailed along smoothly until they reached the equator. Suddenly, the sounds of the wedding interrupt the ancient mariner's story. The wedding guest beat his heart impatiently as the blushing bride enters the reception hall and music plays. However, he is compelled to listen to the ancient mariner, who goes on with his tale. The ancient mariner seems to have hypnotized the sailor. Lines 41-62. He says that as soon as the ship reached the equator, a terrible storm hit and forced the ship southwards. The wind blew with such force that the ship was forced to move southwards direction. The storm was chasing the ship like a strong enemy. It was like an hunter chasing its prey. Then the sailors reached a part of the sea that was wondrous cold, full of snow and glistening icebergs as tall as the ship's mast. It was the land of mist and snow. Huge icebergs surrounded the sea. The snow cliffs provided a sad shine and mariners were struck in the sea. There was no place to steer the ship. There was no life around. Lines 63-82. Finally an albatross emerged from the land of mist, and the sailors considered it to be the sign of good luck as it gave the indication that there was some life around. They hailed it in the name of Christ, and considered it to be the bird of good omen. The sailors fed the albatross and played with it. The albatross also hovered around the ship. With the arrival of the albatross, a south wind started to blow and the ice cracked, making way for the ship. The mariner after this becomes hysterical, and the wedding guest is dead terrified on seeing his pale face. The mariner tells the wedding guest that he took his crossbow and killed the albatross. Lines 83-102. The ship started moving forward. The sun shone during the day, and wind also blew in the right direction, but there was mist all around. The other sailors were angry with the ancient mariner for killing the innocent albatross, which according to them was the Holy Spirit sent by Christ to save them. It was a bird of good omen. Then the mist disappeared and the sun shone particularly brightly. On seeing the weather changing, the sailors also changed their opinion. They were fickle-minded people, and they said that the mariner did good job by killing the albatross as it had brought the mist. Lines 103-122. The ship sailed along merrily as the favorable winds were blowing, but soon the winds died down, and they were in the part of the sea where there was nothing all around. They were stranded in the middle of the sea. There was no wind at all and the sails dropped and the water was calm, and the ship could not move and sat as idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. Then the sun became unbearably hot just as the sailors ran out of water. Lines 123-142. The ocean became a horrifying place. The water was covered with slimy creatures at night. The water at night seemed to change the color because of so many slimy creatures which appeared on the water at night. Some of the sailors dreamed that the spirits had followed them from the icy world, and they all suffered from a thirst so terrible that they could not speak. The sailors blamed the ancient mariner for their woes, and put the blame on him alone, and as constant reminder to the wrong he had done, the ancient mariner hung the albatross, a dead carcass, around his neck.